So I'm the West Midlands Ambulance Service Medical Director. I think everyone was shocked by what they saw, and across the media. And around about the same time, we had an event in the ambulance services, a diversity and inclusion event. And one of the things that really struck me at the time was there was a lead in diversity from another ambulance service who said at the time to a group of us, it wasn't just to me, people from my background are sick of talking about race and diversity. When are the rest of you going to do something about this? And that really kind of struck me that we should get on, actually, all of us, including me, and try to do everything that we could to try and raise the issues, stand alongside people from different backgrounds, and just try and raise the profile of it all. I think probably the first one, and it's probably not where people would say my natural tendencies lie, is to listen. So you're probably aware I'm quite good at chatting, and listening doesn't actually take up the same amount of my time normally. But I think it is an area where we have to be prepared to listen and to try to understand it. I don't think we can ever put ourselves in someone else's shoes, but I think if we're going to be anywhere along standing aside our colleagues, our patients, then we have to listen and understand better. I think the other thing is, and I kind of alongside that, is being open to learning. So I've learned a lot in the last 18 months around, well, just in so many areas around, what can I do to help, some of the terminology about understanding phrases like white privilege, which is, originally I'd have to be honest and say I don't think I really did understand that. It was about, I didn't understand it was about how all these areas just affect the way that you live normally, and that some of us are very privileged that we don't have to even think about some of the things that people have to think about on a day-to-day basis if they have a darker skin tone. So I think I'd say being open to learning is the other one. And then I think I'm going to be a bit naughty and have two together.
Yeah, go for it.
That we have to accept the challenge given to us, or that we learn about, and to be proactive in terms of supporting the changes that are needed to improve the lives of our patients, our colleagues, well, everyone really. So I've been a bit naughty and had 4 there. Became aware of a number of areas that I really didn't know much about, that I needed some education on, that I also needed support. And when I joined in the groups that Mima Rhines supported, I was really relieved that it was such a supportive, non-judgmental. You could ask questions about areas you didn't understand terminology in, about how you should put things, what we should actually do in terms of allyship and supporting people to have their voices heard more clearly. So I guess that's where it's all come from, and part of the journey I've been on.
I am Mohammed Ramzan, and I am the Diversity and Inclusion Lead at West Midlands Ambulance Service. I do think allyship is very important, and it really starts from the senior management, from right from the top. So if you've got someone leading and and showing that commitment to diversity and inclusion, then that kind of paves a way for the others to follow. So I think setting that kind of standard right at the top. And we have got policies and strategies which say that, but sometimes you can have the best policies and the best strategies out there, but you have to really walk the walk and not just talk the talk, as it were. And I think leading by example is important. And this is where I think I mentioned earlier as well, networks plays a very important role. So if you have senior management coming to networks, giving a contribution, that helps, and that's all about, and I suppose that kind of links in with allyship as well. And I'm really looking forward to the, to the challenge. And it's a challenge which is, I don't mean that in a negative way, but challenging is that we know that there are issues and there are, things that we need to get right. And being that kind of change agent in order for that to happen. And I think what we need as an organization really is transformational change. We have leaders where staff look up to leaders who are inclusive and who are diverse. So there's a lot of work to do, but I'm very hopeful that we can make some real headway.
So I'm Paul Vaughan. I'm the Deputy Director for Primary Care Nursing and Next Gen Nurse at NHS England and NHS Improvement. A definition that I've read in some of the literature, really, and I suppose it's where you use your position of privilege to advocate for support or to stand in solidarity with a marginalized group. That would be the kind of the formal definition, I suppose, is what I would say it is. So it was really when I started to work with the Royal College of Nursing. I got this fancy job as a regional director for the RCN in the West Midlands, which is when I met you actually and others. And when I took up that job, a group of people who were members of the RCN came to me and they said to me, are you, as the regional director for this area, are you actually going to pick up some of the issues that we've been facing around racism? They were nurses who were Black and worked in local trusts in the West Midlands, but they were also members of the Royal College of Nursing. And they had experienced racism in the Royal College of Nursing as members, as well as in their workplace. And that was really the first time. And I'm really grateful to those nurses because it was through their eyes that I began to understand what it was like. One being honest with yourself, because I think it's, it's not, I'm not making excuses for it, but it's not always easy to be honest with yourself when you recognize in your behavior that actually you might be racist and you never realized it. And you have to be honest with yourself, I think. And I suppose that honesty then leads to courage. So when you recognize that you are that way, you have to have the courage then to admit it and say, okay, I need to do something about it. And that's really important for me, I think. So, and then having the courage to do something about it, because I think too many people, if I'm being honest, pay lip service to it. And then I think there's the bit about being ongoing reflective. You need to be reflective. So it's not just a sudden, this is it and it's sorted and that's great. It's not. You have to be reflective. So I think the journey carries on, both a personal journey and reflecting on yourself, but equally on reflecting on the experiences that you have. And are you being honest with yourself and others when they behave poorly? And do you have the courage to speak out when they behave poorly or you see things? So for me, probably there are three qualities. And I'm not saying I am great with them, I try, but I think there are three really important qualities that people, it's helpful to have if you're working in this space.
That we've tried to do in putting this together is turning how conversations happen using memes, videos, dance, all those kinds of things that Curly and Richard put together. Everything is board reports or committee reports, or, let's change the way that we communicate.
You've made people feel that they can be free and honest with what they say, and that there's a place for them to be able to progress the ambition that they have in this area. I'd love to have Curly and Rich in every room in the land talking to people about this. Definitely it's achieved what we set out to be. Thank you so much to the guys for all the work that you've done. You've been absolutely amazing. Couldn't have asked for anything more.
I've been fortunate enough to join every one of these, so I really thank you for the sacred space that's been created. Those conversations build confidence. we have to actually give people language, etc., to be able to really support themselves, really, using the resources. You've left us with a fabulous legacy to then take this forward even further. I just want to thank you for what's been started today. It's been absolutely, 5 weeks ago, it's been absolutely amazing. Thank you very much.
But I've never been brave enough to explore the topics that we have explored in that kind of race and space environment, and it's made it accessible and easy. I was about to say comfortable, but it hasn't been comfortable, and there's been times where my camera's been off and I've been awkwardly sat thinking, do I ask that question? Do I make that point? And just the very fact that I've felt brave enough to do so is testament to the environment that you've created.
Last year things changed, gave me 2020 vision. I vowed to go on a self-education mission. Books, documentaries, a podcast series, a safe space to learn and voice any queries. Now it's almost time to say goodbye. Thank you for accepting me as a white ally.
Oh, wow. Give a big round of applause. If you don't meet your mates, brave Lucy Jones from Dudley, smashing it with the poetry straight away.
Providing equality, diversity and inclusion training with safe space podcasts and resources, improving staff and user experiences with your organisation.
That, there isn't anything else in the NHS. If the care wasn't right, if the money wasn't right, if the performance was off, we couldn't ignore it. But actually, sometimes as white people, we just walk away from this and say it's too hard, and that's got to stop.
Just wanted to say thank you to Suzanne for standing up to be counted on this issue. I think the more allies that we have on this who are white and from privileged sort of backgrounds is really, really powerful and really important in terms of the cause around this.
You've kind of given language to something that's quite sensitive and difficult to describe, and that's the reason why it's so easy to ignore it and say it doesn't exist. You've given us a framework, you've given us language, and you've given us your open lived experience in terms of how you got to being an ally. It's a great way to start the podcast. Thank you.
You can see that Suzanne is genuine and authentic, and absolutely what we need in support of pushing forward this agenda. So thank you.
Alongside the podcast, colleagues have 24-hour access to the Resource Builders Toolbox, a training resource on Google Slides that features EDI training content in various engaging forms. There's YouTube video vaults, meme galleries, A to Z vocabulary guides, interviews, poetry, comedy, dance, and network lists. The document also offers flexibility for trainers in your organisation to modify and use these resources in their future presentations. As resource providers and poets, we also create bespoke content for conferences, keynote speeches, and creative summaries for data-heavy board meetings. Some of our work has even reached the Cabinet Office. Contact us for further information. We look forward to successfully supporting your organisation's EDI outcomes. We're leaving now with the final words from Taps Machiamani from the Black Country and West Birmingham Integrated Care System.
It's just a matter of right and wrong. So I really wanted to encourage colleagues to stand up and be counted, like Suzanne has stood up to be counted, because what's wrong is just wrong.